Hello, what's up, guys? Finally, Market Flashcards is back. It's been a long time. I miss you guys. But today I'm going to take you guys through my thought process on a few trades that I took. Like you all know, we're going to try to make you understand how my thinking was, or what I saw in these trades, uh, what my expectations were, and what actually happened in these trades. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you do that. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that I get notified anytime I drop a video. You guys are really motivating us to do more. So kindly hit the subscribe button or ring that bell and get notified anytime we drop a video like that. Alright, now of course don't forget to share and like. Give us those likes and share our links to others to also enjoy the content that we put out here. Alright, so we are going to go straight into uh, looking at the trades we took and what actually happened in this trade. Now let's first we are going to look at was CADJPY 3 minutes time frame. Now for those who are in my mentorship, we've done what we call smart money reversal part 1 and then part 2. Now straight away you can see this trade was shaped up in the smart money reversal part 2. Liquidity run and then break of market structure. Okay, so here you can see price created these highs and quickly took out these highs with this huge push up. So there we have our liquidity run here. Now price quickly reversed to break structure here. So our smart money reversal concept is based on part 2 is based on liquidity run and then BOS. And after that, after BOS, we look for premium entries or discount entries depending on where we are looking at a buy scenario or sell scenario. In this case, we are looking at sell scenario. So we looked at premium entries after BOS and then pullback. Okay, so we have a liquidity run here with this big push up, taking out these guys, and then straight to break this structure here, and then pull back into a premium entry. Now, a premium entry in this case was this other block here. I'm not going to go into equilibrium, discount, and premium because I've already done that in my mentorship. Okay, and I'm sure those who are in my mentorship understand what premium entries are. Okay, so price took out liquidity, came to break structure, and then went up into and started pulling back after break of structure. Now we're looking out for our entry here. Okay, and we're going to see what happened next. Good. Now this is what we got. Now this is a little bit squeezed up because price took a little bit of time before playing out, and then I can't have the full scale of the initial scale of it because of how long price took to to play out. So that's why it's a little bit squeezed out so that I can fit in the screen and in the space of the screen and everything. Alright. So price here, this is what we had initially. Price took out liquidity here. So these are the highs that were created. Price took it out here, broke structure here, and then pulled back into our other block here, as it was noted here. Okay, so this is the other block here. Liquidity taken, BOS, pull back into other block. So this is the other block here. Liquidity was taken here, BOS here, pull back into other block. And we got a beautiful entry. It was near zero drawdown. And then price hit our take profit very beautifully. This was easy 1 to 4 risk reward trade. Risks very little in rain. We made our maximum 4 parts. Alright, so this trade was sent in our community page. Now we have a community page on Telegram. Now you can share your chats, you can ask questions, you can bring your ideas, anything of that sort. We have a community page on Telegram. You can join that and then uh, learn a few things from there as well. Now let's quickly move on to our next trade on GBP NZD 15 minutes time frame. Now GBP NZD was initially spotted in 1 hour time frame. There was a harmonic pattern an odd but harmonic pattern in 1 hour time frame. So I had to lower the time frame to look at possible entries in lower time frame in order to reduce my risk. Okay, so as we refine entries and refine entries, we always try to refine entries from larger time frames into lower time frames so that we can get the least possible risk on trades. Because looking at trying to pick out entries in higher time frames, you are actually in that sense going to risk more if you are picking out entries in very high time frames. So what we do here at precision based trading is we always try to um, refine entries as much as possible, unless the entry on the higher time frame is still giving you, unless you have reason to take an entry on the higher time frame, which still gives you a lower risk. Okay. Now, if not that, we always try to. If you can't have an entry on higher time frame that gives us a very low risk, then we try to refine the entries in lower time frame to get an entry that gives us a very very low risk. So that's what we do here at precision based trading. Now let's move on to what really happened in GBP NZD. Okay. Now so in GBP NZD we saw 1 hour alt bat pattern, harmonic pattern, and then we had to lower the time frame to 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes we saw that price took a bit of rejection here, one, two, three, and then came down to break structure. As we know in market structure, we use market structure every single time. Almost in every trade we take here at precision based trading, we pay attention to market structure because the market is always about structure and liquidity. Okay, so we saw that price failed to make new highs with these rejections here in 15 minutes. Now, this is indication price was struggling to move higher. Now, what do you do as a trader? As a trader, this is telling you that okay, price is struggling to move higher. Now, what other reason will you have to sell price at that point? Now, the other reason we had is break of structure here. So first off, we have 1 hour time frame harmonic pattern, lower time frame to 15 minutes, rejections, and then break of structure. Okay. Now at this point, we looked out for entry here into structure, and then a pullback into structure for an entry, and then sell. Okay. So let's see what happens. Boom. This is what happened. Price broke structure nicely here, pulled back into structure, picked out entry here, and then sold off nicely to our take profit. It took a little bit of time in this sense to jiggled a little bit of the time here, and then played with our emotions a little bit, and then came down to hit take profits nicely. So that is how we wrapped GBP NZD2. Now let's quickly move on to the next one. Yes, this was my favorite trade. NAS 100, US 100, or USTEC, depending on how most various brokers or platforms decide to call it. Okay, so on NAS 100, initially on 1 hour time frame, we saw an odd but harmonic pattern again. Precision based trading, we trade harmonics a lot. It's one of our specialities. Okay, so most of the time we find our directional bias with harmonic patterns. And again, because we want to lower the risks as much as possible, we refine our entries into pretty much lower time frames, right? So in NAS 100, we saw a bad harmonic pattern in 1 hour time frame, lowered the time frame in to 15 minutes. Now, in this way, I cut corners a little bit. Now, originally, I would wait for this high here to break, and then I pull back. I would wait for break of structure on this high here, and then I pull back into this demand zone. Okay, but in this sense, I had to I had to I was actually waiting for this high to break, but price gave me another reason to think that demand created here is going to push prices higher. So, and then again, price failed to make new lows here. If price had made new lows here, then I've ultimately waited for this high to break. But price failed to make new low here, and that one gave me an indication of a reduction in the tendency for price to go lower. Okay, now demand again created here, and that was another reason for me to think the price was going higher. Okay, so then even though I was still anticipating a break of this structure, I still put out my limit order on this demand zone here or order block here. Okay, now let's see what happened next. So price picked out our entry in the other block nicely. It was sniper entry. Okay, picked out our entry nicely, pushed back beautifully up, and then took profit nicely in NAS 100. Now this was a beautiful trade. I gave this trade in my VIP channel, and those in my VIP channel enjoy this. Okay. Now most of the trade here I put them out into our community channel too, but not all of them. So most of the trades go into the VIP channel, but the chats I sometimes put them in the community channel. Sometimes I don't. Okay, so that is it. Now let's move on to, so that was how we wrapped up NAS 100 beautifully. Harmonic pattern in 1 hour time frame. Demand zone created in 15 minutes. Picked out entry in demand zone, and it was a beautiful trade. Now let's move on to NZD USD, the last but not the least. Now this was also a very beautiful trade. Again, we saw a harmonic pattern in 15 minutes time frame. Once again, I'm stressing we make use of harmonic patterns a lot at position based trading, because we believe that harmonics are the basis of most of the of structures in the market, and again, for the reason that Fibonacci itself is a very natural phenomenon. Okay, it has a very natural phenomenon, and we know the basis of harmonics are fibs. So because of this reason, we make use of harmonic patterns a lot. All right. Now in NZD USD, we first spotted it in 15 minutes time frame. That is where we first spotted it. All right. Now again, I didn't want to take the entry in 15 minutes time frame. I wanted to reduce the risk as much as possible. All right. So we came down to 3 minutes time frame. In 3 minutes, we saw that again there was a smart money reversal concept within it. Okay, now price quickly took this low, liquidity ran, took this low out here, and then quickly after taking the low came up to break structure here. Okay, and then pulled back into structure. Okay, picked out my first entry here when price pulled back into structure. Okay, that is where I found my first entry. This was a discount entry, because if you measure fibs from here to here, you have a discount entry here. Okay, so price took out liquidity here, came out to break structure here, pulled back into a discount area here, and then pick up my first entry. Then price pushed up, and then I looked out for another entry in this one candle here. Okay, for those who have followed my YouTube videos, I have a video on WEM candles or magic candles. Okay, so price pushed up, and I saw the need to put up another entry in the web candle here. So I put up another limit order here, and then boom, price picked up the entry nicely, and I went all the way to take profits. Two trades, two take profits, and it was a beautiful one in NZD USD. Alright, this brings us to the end of our market flashcards. I hope you guys have learned something. Okay, now if you have any comments, kindly drop it in the comment section. If you haven't liked, if you haven't shared, kindly do that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, kindly do that. Thank you for watching. My name is Nana.